Is your marriage intimate enough?
Mine isn't.
That is the question. I get so many people that, you just
Most
said,
most women are like, yes, it is. It's intimate enough. It's plenty. And the husbands are
and
like,
yeah,
no.
most men are like, no, no, it's not
And
intimate enough.
it's the other way around,
And
but
so rather than arguing back and forth and having the wife say, yeah, it's intimate enough, the husband say, no, it's not intimate enough. We've got a quiz for you to take that will tell you if it's intimate enough or not. Now, the
ooh.
great thing about this is the quiz is not just like across the board, one size fits all. Like the questions you're going to ask in this, everyone's going to answer maybe a little bit differently. So, for what might be intimate enough for one couple might not be intimate enough for another couple. So one couple might be, once every 3 weeks, and well, that's probably not intimate enough. But what I'm saying is one
Oh
couple
dear.
might be answering and it might be once a week, another couple might be more, right?
I'd be fine with every 3 weeks.
Well, we'll take the
I'm just
quiz and we'll
kidding.
see what
Well,
how could you not
okay,
want how could you not want to be intimate with this? Come on.
are we talking like being intimate or just intimacy in general? We're talking about being intimate, right?
Being intimate, yep.
Okay, being intimate.
Yep.
Okay. Is your marriage intimate enough? Means are you having sexual intimacy?
Yeah, which it
Yes.
does tie into like
But
emotional
sexual
connection.
intimacy doesn't mean sex. Like there's lots of ways to be intimate. So we get people writing us after podcasts like this. Well, I can't do it this time and intercourse doesn't work. Like in being intimate comes in varieties.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're not talking
So
about
yeah, yeah.
A and B. We're
Right.
talking about,
Right.
yeah.
Right.
Okay.
We should have
So
taken a poll on this one.
I know we totally should have.
What do you think the answers would be if we asked our audience, are you intimate enough? The boys men would have been 99%. No, I'm not intimate enough. The
No,
women were.
I think we have asked this before. I don't remember what the answers are, but I remember that most of the men were absolutely like, yeah, it's not intimate enough. And majority of women were like, yeah, it's intimate enough. I mean, that's kind of what I think the average couple is going to say with a high desire and low desire spouse. We recognize that it's different, right? Sometimes we get the women
Okay,
say
it's not a
different, but
husband wife thing. It's
it's
like the
not.
high drive spouse is going to be like, no, it's never enough, and the low drive's like, it's too much,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
That's
So
probably
it's
what.
finding that balance. And there really is a sweet spot based upon like actual studies and things done. Like it's not like there is science behind it, and we're going to share a little bit about that as well too. So
Okay, okay. You want me to start?
lead us off, babe. Lead us off.
Okay. Um, Oxytocin. Should we just start with that?
Yeah, let's start with that. The bonding hormone.
Why do we need it? Why do we need it?
Well, why do we need it, or what is it? Is
What
maybe
is
a
it? Why
better
do we need
question.
it?
Well,
Do you know off the top of your
I
mind?
think it's the bonding hormone, right?
Right,
Like
right.
it's what.
Or he, yes, yes. It's released through kissing, hugging, touching, making love, all those things, like physical touch, literally.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask you a question.
Okay.
We're not getting off subject, but do you think that's maybe why? So, okay, first off, so it's that chemical that's released, like you said, when you're
Hmm.
kissing, touching,
Hmm.
hugging, making love, and that creates that bond to your spouse, right?
Right.
Okay, I don't mean to get off subject. I'm just raising a point. Do you think that's why pornography is so um, addictive and things like that too? Is that sometimes replacing,
For sure.
anyways,
Yes.
just a thought. So I just want to get people thinking that's why, that can be so addictive and destructive is because basically you're bonding to that because it's doing the same thing versus with your spouse.
And the reason we need oxytocin from our spouse is to bind with our spouse. So that's why physical touch is literally so important in marriage.
And it's not.
And lots of different forms of physical touch.
Yeah, and it doesn't just happen with orgasm. It happens, like you said, through kissing, touching, holding
Holding
each other.
hands,
Exactly. All
cuddling.
those things. Yep.
Yep. Yep, absolutely. Okay, here's a study. According to a 2012 study, couples who had, I mean, that was a while ago, I get that, but couples who had a higher levels of oxytocin early in their relationship stayed together longer and showed more affectionate behavior like finishing each other's sentences, laughing, and touching. I can finish next sentences.
Oh, totally. The other, not,
23 years in.
yeah, the other night we were in the shower. She's like, I know exactly what you're thinking. I'm like,
No, you
oh,
know.
bring it on, bring it on. And she's like, yeah, you're thinking this, and this. Like, hold on. Like, that's exactly what I was thinking. How did you know? And
It was deep too.
yeah, it wasn't like anything sexual or anything I was thinking. It
No,
was like just
no,
what was I thinking in general?
it was like almost like therapy, like past, I don't
It
know.
was eerie.
It was weird.
I told Amy, I was like, did you call one of those 800 numbers with like the psychics? I mean,
Okay, well, I don't know if you want to read your spouse's mind, but there you go. The next point we're going to make is that sex literally rewires the brain for connection. So, regular intimacy, being intimate improves emotional attunement by stimulating brain regions associated with reward and empathy. And a 2017 study published in Social Cognitive and Affective Neuroscience found that sexual afterglow, the heightened sense of closeness, lasts up to 48 hours after sex, helps maintain long-term relationship satisfaction.
so is that why I have such a big grin like for 2 days after we make love?
And then
Is
on
that
day three, you're like, goes down, you're like, I need it again. And the low drive spouse is like grinning because they're like, my husband doesn't try anything on me in a day.
well, we're both regardless after a couple days we're both grinning. So
Whatever the reason is.
whatever the reason we're both grinning.
I don't mean to laugh, but we're just so different.
Oh, we
Like
totally
most
are.
couples are so different. And we talk about this all the time, like high drive versus low drive. Like the low drive's like, oh, I get to go another day. Yes. And the high drive's like, oh man, it's been 3 days.
Okay, but to hit on this on a serious point, right? So right now you see a high desire spouse and a low desire spouse, right? Instead of this causing conflict,
Right. Embrace it.
we're joking about it, we're laughing about it, we're having fun, and it works for us, right? So
We make it, but
we
it
make it
doesn't
work.
work for us unless we make it work for us.
Yeah,
Most couples, it's not working for them.
my point is we found a balance, right? And we can joke around and say, Nick's totally crazy. He would want it every day. You know what I mean?
I
Like,
would think you're crazy, but a lot of men are like, I would want it every day too. And I'm like, well, I'm not a guy.
yeah, but that's my point
I
is
know.
Amy's made an effort to understand how I feel and how my body works. And even though she doesn't understand it, she's like, I want to understand why he feels this way. And I've tried to do the same. So we try to understand how each other feel
We try. We try.
and
It's
so
a
like
life process.
so like on day 2 or 3, I'm like, I still need to give her a break.
Yep.
Um,
Yep. We found a good balance in our marriage, and he has had to come an extra day there, and I've had to give in about a week early. So
there you have it.
there you have it. And I'll tell you why it works before we jump on.
Okay.
Because I have to rewire my brain to say yes when I want to say no every time. Did that make sense?
Let's expand.
When he comes to me day three and I can tell he wants to be intimate, I have had to teach myself to say yes instead of no. I've had to teach myself to say yes. It starts up here, and it starts with a positive mind attitude about it. That comes from strong emotional connection, feeling like a team in your marriage. He makes it feel good for me. It's not one-sided. Like all those things that we constantly talk about. That's what wired my brain to say yes instead of saying no when I'm not in the mood, because he treats me so well in so many
Thanks,
areas.
babe.
And that's what I'm always trying to say to the guys is if you want her brain to say yes instead of no, you have to be there in your marriage. You have to be present and you have to be a teammate in your marriage. Like she has got to be already feeling that for her to say yes instead of no.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Okay, moving on. Sex builds a feedback loop of love. Sexual intimacy leads to emotional closeness. Emotional closeness leads to more intimacy. It creates a cycle that strengthens the entire relationship. We always talk about this cycle. Or sometimes it becomes a gap or a wedge. We want it to be a cycle. We want it to be a love cycle. We want it to be, you're feeling loved in your way. I'm feeling loved in my way. I'm willing to give and serve to you because I feel so give and serve to in my ways. And it
Exactly,
becomes
yeah.
a beautiful cycle that is formed because both people are giving and listening and caring.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what it is,
For
right?
sure.
So, study in 2009, a study from the Archives of Sexual Behavior found that emotional and sexual intimacy were mutually reinforcing. When couples felt emotionally close, they had better sex, and when they had more satisfying sex, they reported feeling more emotionally bonded. That
Correct.
is why it is
A
a
circle.
cycle. It is a cycle. When a wife gets cut off from the emotional intimacy, the cycle stops and she is not going to want to be intimate. When a husband is cut off from this being intimate and his desires, he stops giving the emotional connection. The cycle stops. It has to be a cycle. That cycle is not easy
For
to come
sure. For
about,
sure.
which is our entire reason we do what we do.
Yeah.
To help people get in that beautiful circle, right? Okay, next one. Dopamine plus oxytocin equals marital glue. Dopamine, the pleasure hormone we already talked about, is also released during sexual intimacy, helping create positive associations with your spouse. Together, this dopamine and oxytocin make sexual touch feel rewarding and deepen the emotional imprint on your brain. Marital glue. That is the best statement or way to put it.
Yeah, it
Marital
really
glue.
is.
It really
It really
is. When you feel bonded and you feel connected and you also get the pleasure hormone in there, like there's the cycle right there. Like both people are going to want that. So here's a statistic for you. 87% of happily married couples say that sexual intimacy plays a crucial role in their relationship satisfaction. This came from the National Marriage Project, University of Virginia. I can say we once did a poll
Yeah.
on our own social media. There were several thousand couples that took the poll, and we asked both husbands and wives that exact same question.
And I think it was, if I remember right, it was either 92 or 93%,
It was a
right?
little bit higher, but we have all married audience. Well, that one was too, but 87. So it
So
was
we're
it
right
was
in
pretty
there.
close. We're around the 90%, and wives agreed that too, that when sexual intimacy is very important in marriage.
Yeah, and these were probably many of the wives that maybe don't enjoy it as well too, but they,
Right.
yeah, I think
They
part of
still
it
know it's
too.
important,
Yeah,
right?
and I think part of it too, and I think many women out there see this as well too. Like Amy can see the impact it has on me, positive and negative, right? Like
Mhm.
when we're not intimate, she can see
A difference.
a difference, and it's not that I do it intentionally, but you know, she can see a difference, right?
Mhm.
So,
Right.
and I can see a difference when I'm not meeting her emotional needs.
Absolutely.
So it
Absolutely.
goes both ways.
That goes both ways. So here's some talking points. Here we go. Sex isn't just physical, it's neurological, hormonal, and deeply emotional. I
I,
think we've learned that from all the survey answers that we've gotten from the higher drive spouse. I don't want to say men, because women too. The higher drive spouses, 95% of all the polls we've taken in 6, 7 years, the husbands are always like, it's emotional to me. It's
yes.
not physical to me.
And
It's
and I think if the lower desire spouse could get it out of their mind that it's
all
only
physical,
physical, it's just
right?
physical, it's just physical. No. In fact, the physical part is just a minute fraction of the real reason, which Amy
Mhm.
just read what the real reasons are.
Right. Right. Next one. When you connect physically, you're literally wiring your brain to love and trust your spouse more deeply. When you connect physically. Now, this one's not just about sexual, even
Yeah.
though that it can mean that. Just connecting physically, releasing that dopamine or bonding hormone, literally, it's going to just create more emotional intimacy too. More emotional intimacy equals more physical intimacy. More physical intimacy in the marriage equals more sexual intimacy in the marriage. When the sexual intimacy is strong, there's more emotional connection. Like
Yep.
it's such a beautiful thing when you could jump on that and balance out that cycle as a couple.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's literally where the Ultimate Intimacy app came from, is the conversation starters and the love quiz, learning your spouse's love language, reading, all the expert articles on how to love your spouse better, what the men need, how they're wired, how their body's created, the female too, like just all the things we compacted in the app is literally like teaching you how to love your spouse better so you can get into this amazing cycle,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Next one, oxytocin helps a wife feel emotionally safe. Dopamine helps a husband feel affirmed. When both are being met, the marriage thrives.
And
Agreed.
that's the key.
That's the key.
That's the key.
That's the key.
When both are being met.
Both are being met. We constantly say her needs are important, his are equally important. Important. Equally important. Both spouses' needs are equally important. But you don't really know what those are or if you're taking care of them unless you learn how to communicate about it.
Yeah.
Like that is so key. There's the quiz. You ready?
Yeah, so let's jump into the quiz, and I want all of you to answer these questions honestly. Like, don't answer them, you know, how you think they need to be answered. Answer them honestly within your marriage, and then the feedback at the end of the quiz will kind of assess where you're at and what you can do.
Right.
So as we read these questions, you can take these, you can take these from what we're reading and do this with us in the podcast. Or if you want to later on go into the Ultimate Intimacy app under resources and articles, and then under the printables, we'll also have this in the printable section that you can print off for free and do it together.
Yeah, do it together. This is a great quiz to take together, like after date night or something.
Well, you're exactly right. I think this is something that you can do individually. And then that way you can assess how each one of, and then share it with your spouse and assess how each one of you are feeling. And then obviously
you're probably going to have different answers.
Absolutely.
Like he's going to be like, no, we're not intimate enough. And I'll be like, oh, we're plenty intimate enough. Like, wouldn't it be interesting for both of you to take it separately and then come back together and see how far off you are? And if you are far off, we have the best resource ever. It's called the Intimate Conversations in the Ultimate Intimacy app.
Yep.
You jump into the intimate conversations and start figuring out why you're so distant from having the same answer. I think that can be really, really impactful for
well,
your
and then
marriage.
finding balance it's not about getting exactly what you want. It's about finding balance, right?
Right.
So
okay, so question 1 is how often do you and your spouse be intimate? And then it's A, multiple times a week, B, once a week, C, a few times a month, or D, once a month or less. Okay, so is this a point system?
Yeah. Yep.
Number 2, do you both initiate sex or does it feel one-sided? A is we both do. B, one of us usually initiates, but it's mutual overall. C, it's mostly one-sided. D, nobody initiates anymore. Oh,
that would be
a horrible answer. Number 3, how satisfied are you and your spouse with your intimate life? A,
I give a thumbs up.
very intimate, or very satisfied, sorry. Mostly satisfied, room to grow. C, one of us is less satisfied than the others. D, there's a lot of dissatisfaction or disconnect. Okay. 4, how connected do you feel emotionally outside the bedroom? A, very connected. We talk, share, and support each other. B, somewhat connected. Life gets in the way. C, not very connected. Emotions feel distant. And D, we mostly feel like roommates.
And notice these questions are not all sex related.
Right. Half of them should be emotional intimacy. We'll find out. 5, how comfortable are you talking about sex and intimacy with your spouse? 1, or A, super open. B, we talk sometimes, could be better. C, feels awkward, we avoid it. Or D, we never talk about it. That is going to affect your emotional intimacy and your sexual intimacy. 6, how often do you flirt, kiss passionately, or touch affectionately outside of being intimate? A, daily. B, a few times a week. C, occasionally. D, rarely or never. 7, do you feel desired and pursued by your spouse? A, absolutely yes. B, most of the time. C, sometimes. I wish it was more. D, not at all. 3 more. 8, do you and your spouse, this is a quick quiz.
Yeah, that's good.
Do you and your spouse make time for intimacy even with busy schedules? A, yes, it's a priority. B, sometimes we try. C, rarely. D, no, it's not even on the radar. 9, do you view sex as a way to bond and reconnect emotionally? Do you view it this way? A, yes, it brings us closer. B, sometimes but not always. C, not really, feels like a chore. D, we don't really think about it that way.
Yeah, a lot of people are going to say C.
Not really, it feels like a chore. Yeah, a lot of women do if they're honest. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. And there's reasons for that. And that is covered in another episode that we did.
Another episode.
Actually, a few of them. Number 10, last question. When was the last time you tried something new together in the bedroom? Position, game, location, etc. Switching things up, trying to make it fun. A, this month. B, within the last 3 to 6 months. C, over a year ago. D, I can't even remember.
And if you're using the Ultimate Intimacy app, it should have been less than a week ago.
Right. Right. So, scoring, give yourself points based on your answers. A equals 4, B equals 3, C equals 2, D equals 1. Total up your points out of 40, and then what your
Check out your
score
score.
means. Check out
See
your
what it
score.
means.
And the score is on the printable. Do you want me to give it away?
Nope, I think we're good. Yeah, I think.
Okay, if you want to see what each score means, 35 to 40, you got to go jump on the Ultimate Intimacy app. It's the free. It's download it free if you don't have it. Go into
In
the
the
resources
resources,
section.
and then printables, downloads and
Go
printables.
downloads or coupons of printables.
Coupons and printables.
Coupons
Sorry.
of printables.
Don't even know my own.
And go find the what is are we titling? This is titled what did you title it?
What's that?
Intimate quiz?
Uh-huh.
The intimate quiz. Okay. So, I don't know, there's a pretty good basis for if your intimate life is healthy or not.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, go take this quiz separately, compare your answers together. This will get the conversation started. We know a lot of people aren't having these conversations. When you start having these conversations, a lot of things are going to come out, and it's going to help you be able to get on the same page and resolve a lot of things. It's going to get your emotional and physical intimacy better. So that's what this is designed to do.
And if you struggle about talking about sex and intimacy in your marriage, go back and listen to our episode about why you need to talk about it. We have resources to help you talk about it. To end this one, we have our brand new card deck. Literally been out like a month or two.
Let's talk about
sex. If you pair it, we have it paired in our shop with the book Let's Talk About Sex that was written 20 things that Christian spouses wish their spouse knew but won't tell you. There's a husband section and there's a wife section. It's awesome. It pairs perfectly with the Let's Talk About Sex card deck, which every single card deck has a question, but it also tells you why that question is so important. And that's what I love about it. We hand created that, and it's supposed to make talking about it so much easier because you're not coming up with questions for each other. It's literally asking, like, this is why this question's important, and this is why I'm going to ask it, and then you discuss it together.
Oh yeah, it makes it so much easier.
So much easier.
So go check all that out at shop.ultimateintimacy.com. We got a lot of other good stuff in there too. You'll probably end up wanting some more stuff, which is okay. So we have free shipping in the US, and you're gonna love the products. So appreciate you listening to the podcast today. Email us with any questions that you have at amy@ultimateintimacy.com. And until next time.